Imagine you square the value of pi. You will find the result. It is very close to the acceleration of gravity. One is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. The other is how fast falling objects speed up. Two totally different concepts, yet they share almost the exact same number. This is no coincidence. Behind this number hides a story. A story about how long 1 meter really is. A story that almost changed the world, only to be overthrown at the very last second. The story begins in Europe before the 18th century. Back then, every country had its own ruler, and every single one of them was laughably weird. In France, 1 foot was exactly the length of King Charlemagne's foot. They called it the king foot. In today measurements, that is about 31.48 centimeters. Meanwhile, in England, 1 inch was 3 dry barley corns lined up end to end in 1324. King Edward II wrote this into law himself, but he left out crucial details. Which kind of barley? Which end of the grain? Even more absurd was the English unit for land area, the acre. It was defined by a specific task. The amount of land 1 man and 8 oxen could plow in a single day. The problem was obvious. Which man? Which 8 oxen? Nobody knew. This chaos caused massive problems. Merchants could cheat their customers at will, but far worse, science was stuck. Imagine this. Isaac Newton finishes a set of experiments in England. He sends his data to colleagues in France. They want to verify his work, but they cannot find 3 standard-sized barley corns. Without a universal ruler, science turned into isolated islands. Islands unable to communicate. Data from one country could not be replicated in another. Experiments could not be compared. Knowledge could not build up. By 1790, scientists had finally had enough. Talleyrand and Condorcet stepped forward. They made a declaration. They did not want king feet or barley corns anymore. They wanted a ruler for all of humanity, a ruler for all of time, a ruler that would never change. But what in nature is truly eternal? People today might think of the speed of light, but over 200 years ago, humanity knew nothing about that. Luckily, they found another answer, the pendulum, in the 17th century. Galileo and Huygens studied pendulum patterns. Huygens made a discovery. The time it takes for one swing depends on only 2 things: the length of the string and the acceleration of gravity. This was a remarkably simple physical formula. Suddenly, the scientists had a flash of inspiration. What if they could accurately measure 1 second? And what if gravity was a fixed number in nature? Then they could work backwards. They could use 1 second to define the length of the string. They made a proposal. They would call the length of this string 1 meter. This solution was pure elegance. It did not rely on any king. It did not rely on any crop. Anyone anywhere could build a pendulum, and they would get the exact same meter. John Wilkins of the Royal Society proposed this idea back in 1668. Italian mathematician Tito Livio Burattini suggested a similar universal meter in 1675. The scientific community almost reached a total consensus. All of humanity was about to use this perfect pendulum meter. However, the story did not have a happy ending. A Frenchman named Jean Richer brought along a highly accurate pendulum clock. He boarded an ocean sailing ship. He had received a scientific mission to South America. He stood on the deck full of anticipation, but he had no idea. This voyage of his was about to act like a bomb. It was going to blow this perfect meter plan to pieces.